Good evening, and welcome to This Week in Joe's Basement. This week in Joe's Basement, we're going to look at dreams, and considering it appropriate to the topic, I think, rather than take our usual analytical approach to a subject, we're going to instead become introspective and look at the stuff that dreams are made of. Including, we're going to get some live testimonials of people who've just been woken up to tell us about their dreams. I think you'll be able to see the effect of that on them. We haven't taped that just yet, but I'm sure it'll be good. All right. Wow. I've been having some weird dreams lately, probably because we made this commercial, this television commercial where I work with these laughing ribs. I don't know if any of you will ever see it on television. It's really distressing. It's this rack of ribs, and it's laughing. It's called Tickle Your Ribs. Is the is the slogan of this TV spot, and it looks like a giant centipede writhing on the grill. I'm glad I didn't have to edit that one. Anyway, I also get, as anybody who's watching last week knows, the romantic mail that we occasionally receive here at This Week in Joe's Basement sometimes becomes rather uncivilized and careens off into the vulgar and the crude. Anyway, so I'm really glad that nobody knows my real address or my real phone number. Somebody once asked me if Joe was a stage name. I told them I would have picked something clever if I was going to use a stage name. Anyway, did get some letter though. A letter this week from Deborah J. Paulson, one of the more peaceful and decent sounding letter writers This Week in Joe's Basement, among those who've occasionally waxed romantic. And she writes as follows. Dear Joe, thank God you escaped from a living hell of television prison with your creativity intact. I can only view last week's UFO episode as a reward for enduring.
Dear Joe, thank God you escaped from the living hell of television prison with your creativity intact. I can only view last week's UFO episode as a reward for enduring the two-part season opener. Joe, how do you choose and ever vigilant, Deb Paulson.
Okay. So we get another letter here. Wait, I got it.
Hi, Joe.
Deborah J. Paulson. How interesting to see you.
Oh, I'm just your biggest fan, Joe.
You are?
Oh, yeah.
Thanks.
I really am. I love your wardrobe. I love this outfit.
Gosh.
I love your hair. I love your strength. I love your nose. I love your feet, Joe. I love your feet.
We got a letter here.
Love your voice.
We got a letter here from the Gold Star Bar.
Hands.
Ooh.
I love your hair. And your lips, Joe. Oh, I love your lips. Absolutely love them. I want to just cut them off and take them home with me alone.
Help! Help!
You
Help
called?
me. Yes! Take her away!
What seems to be the problem?
The problem is her! She's gonna cut my lips off if you don't take her away right now, please.
Oh, yes, right. Wrong metaphor exactly. Castration anxiety falls under subset 4.c of section 4 of the Dream Code mutilation fantasies. Bifurcated cutting instruments are right out. Right. I'm sorry, Mr. Winston. I'm going to have to take this manifest content in for some questioning. Right over there, honey.
Gosh,
With me.
thanks, dream policeman. You've saved me.
Person.
Police person, I'm sorry. I can move.
In the meantime, occupy yourself with that.
All right. Hi there, honey.
Mr. Sandman, bring me a dream. Make him the cutest that I've ever seen. Give him 2 lips like roses in clover, and tell him that his lonesome nights are over. Sandman, I'm so alone, don't have nobody to call my own. Please turn on your magic beam. Mr. Sandman, bring me your dream. Mr. Sandman, bring me a dream. Make him the cutest that I've ever seen. Give him the word that I'm not a rover, and tell him that his lonesome nights are over. Sandman, I'm so alone, don't have nobody to call my own. Please turn on your magic beam. Mr. Sandman, bring me your dream.
I used to work at Marshall Fields about 5-6 years ago.
What
but
department?
The shoe department. I sold shoes for 4 years full time. But nevertheless, I dreamt that I was back working there, and I was walking on the floor, on the 13th floor where they had the employees' cafeteria, and I could hear drilling below me. And so as I was walking down, I felt the vibration on the floor. So I decided, well, I didn't like this, so I'd take the fire escape down. And as I was walking down the steps of the fire escape, I guess the metal grate, I looked above me to the top floor, and there was this black guy, totally nude, and he started pissing on me, and he pissed all over me, and I was drenched in his urine, and it felt very slimy and terrible, and I just said, yuck, what is going on here? And the guy looked down at me and said, well, sorry I did that, but there's a shower, you can take a shower here. So I followed him into a bathroom, and I did take a shower, and as I got out, he started to tongue kiss me. And I got very perturbed by this. And then he said to me, you know, I'm HBI positive. And I said, no, you have AIDS? Oh my God. So what I did was I ran out of there as fast as I could, and I went to a public telephone, and I started dialing this number. It was the 1-800-AIDS hotline. And a man answered on the other line and said, yeah, sure enough, you're AIDS positive. Sorry, you've been exposed. And there are people around me listening to this conversation while I'm on the phone, and they're just breaking out into the biggest laughter, and that was the end.
At that point, you woke up.
Yeah, I woke up. It was a nightmare, absolute nightmare.
So, Jim, how come you remember this dream all the way back when you were 17?
Are you taping this now?
Yeah.
I guess that shouldn't matter. Because it was like this really wild Technicolor dream, and it was very much like a movie with varying camera angles, and it's just really bright all the way around. And it took place in a rainforest.
Do you remember what happened?
Yes. There's something about sitting in this little room with the bright light shining on your head. Okay, I don't really remember who the other person was, but I was sort of at least identified with one of these people I was observing, and there were 2 of us, and we were in this rainforest for some reason in this little village, and we did something that really offended the villagers, and I think there was also a drought or something going on, and they decided it was our fault and we had to be sacrificed to the god of the river, and we had like one friend left among the villagers who kept telling us, you just have to believe in the god of the river, and when they throw you in the river, there won't be any water, and you'll live. And so they go to push us off this little ledge, and we're all tied up, and we're saying to each other, okay, you just have to believe, you just have to believe. And they push us off, and this is the part where I don't remember.
Back or resist or anything?
Oh, no, we're like all tied up. We couldn't resist. I don't remember if I really felt this or just watched it, but it's like for a brief instant, you land in the riverbed and it's dry and there's no water. It's like, wow! And then there's like this huge gushing of water.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where the dream ended. So it's like,
And then he woke up.
these people believe in it just long enough to be amazed by it, and then
And then that's it.
Yeah.
Wow. So this wasn't the bedwetting dream or anything?
Oh, no.
Yeah, I remember a really good gross one.
Okay. Will you share it with me?
There was a man with fire where his eyes should have been. It was like there was a fire inside his cranium. And humans would come down this conveyor belt, mostly children. And it was like the devil's workshop or something, the room he was working in. There was fire.
Who was he? Was he the devil?
I don't know who he was, but he had this curvy knife with jewels and intricate carvings on the hilt. Is that the name for the part that you hold in your hand? And he was stabbing and killing all these people. He was cutting them up. Not just stabbing them and killing them, he was cutting them up and then killing them. It's pretty, it was very graphic.
You weren't in this one, were you?
No, I was watching it happen.
Are you ready to start, Doctor?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. So, so I had a dream.
Yeah?
Yeah, last night. It was a great dream. Very strange. You want to hear about it?
Certainly.
Yeah. So here's what happened in the dream. Okay.
Yeah.
I was in this big, magnificent, gleaming palace.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah, I thought that was nice. Anyway, so I was running around. I was running around. It had all these rooms. I was running from room to room to room to room, and I didn't know what I was looking for, but I was looking for something. I was looking for something, and I needed to find it.
So, what happened?
I found it. Yeah.
Oh,
It was this ballroom, but it was a strange ballroom.
A strange ballroom?
Yeah.
Well, what was so unusual about this ballroom?
Well, lots of things.
Let's start someplace.
Well, okay, I'll start at the beginning. When I pushed open the door, I
Yeah?
had to push this little push thing. I mean, if it's a ballroom, you'd expect it to have a big handle or a big doorknob or maybe a butler that opened the door for you, you know?
Well, you would expect something ornate, wouldn't you?
Yeah, but instead, this had just like a metal square that said push.
Oh, just sort of like the industrial square?
Yeah, it was so, this was a ballroom designed by,
Mies van der Rohe, perhaps.
maybe, or a plumber. Anyway, so I got in, I pushed in the door, and there was nobody in there.
The ballroom was empty.
Yeah, it
Oh.
had a mirror on one end,
Yeah, the mirror.
actually lots of mirrors.
Also, there was like a series.
Yeah,
Okay, the mirrors, okay.
and at the other end, there were
Yeah.
all these thrones.
Thrones?
Thrones.
A whole lineup of thrones?
Yeah, like there was going to be, 12 kings.
Oh my.
Yeah.
12 kings.
Yeah. And the floor was this beautiful white porcelain.
A white porcelain, like Bavarian Rococo?
Yeah, I guess. Have you ever been to Bavaria? I hear it's cold.
Yeah, it's very Rococo.
Oh.
Mr. Sandman, bring me a dream. Make him the cutest that I've ever seen. Give him the word that I'm not a rover, and tell him that his lonesome nights are over. Sandman, I'm so alone, don't have nobody to call my own. Please turn on your magic beam. Mr. Sandman, bring me a dream.
As long as I can remember, I used to have this reoccurring dream, and it was very strange how it used to come to me, because it wasn't necessarily when I was upset, but yes, it used to come to me when I was upset, but I used to think that I'd go upstairs and lie down on my bed and fall asleep. And this dream used to come to me, and it was kind of like this. I was in this long tube, this round, long tube-looking thing, and I was sitting, kind of almost in the fetal position, but not quite, almost just right there, but not quite, and this long tube would hover like along the ground, like maybe 2 or 3 feet off the ground, and it would be rotating around me. Although I was still inside this tube, it would be rotating around me, but it would be moving along. And here I was inside this tube. This is me, and this thing used to spin around me, and it would hover along, and it would hover along these corridors of dark rooms, and there was this carpeting on the floor, and the carpeting was like all dark browns and greens and deep purples, and just very strange colors, and I just couldn't figure it out, and I used to get this like all the time. And the thing is, see these little squares individually, each one of them, they kind of used to stand out like 3D almost, and it was just like this thing, and like I could put my fingers in the holes, because they were hollow from the inside. Like from me looking inside out, the holes were hollow, but if you were to look on the outside in, you could see that the holes would stick out. And I could see this in my dream. I could actually see myself inside, plus I could feel myself inside, you can feel yourself. And I could do this, and it was really, really strange. And it used to hover above this carpet and go in and out these little corridor rooms and just this thing. And then I'd get to a point where I'd go through this door, and then that'll be it, and I'd just wake up. Well, I kept getting this for since I'm going to say 6 years old, but I don't know, for a really long time. And ever since until, let's say, right until maybe 3 years or 4 years ago, when I first met my husband, actually, yeah, it went away right after I met my husband. I was moving out of my apartment somewhere on the north side, and I was in this kind of like a small room, and it was an elevator, actually is what it was, and we were moving stuff, and I'd gotten in the elevator with a bunch of our stuff, and these people got in the elevator who, they just kind of crammed in with the stuff that we had in there. It was a very small room, and I'm standing there and I'm looking around. This is one of these really slow elevators that takes such a long time, and I'm standing there and I'm looking around, and then all of a sudden it clicked. I look up at the ceiling on the elevator, and for some reason these people must have thought I was crazy. Well, I just sort of stood there for a minute, like stunned at the ceiling, and then I went shit, this is it, fuck, shit. And these people, I was saying this aloud, these people were were just like, what are you doing? Excuse me, they were saying. I'm like, oh, you know, and then I just dazed, like, oh, sorry, you know, thinking, what an idiot they must think I am. So I get out the elevator and I'm like freaking out and panicking and everything, and then, you know, days go on and that, and, you know, I told him, but I kind of didn't tell him, my husband, the full story, so I didn't really know, you know, what was going on, and so, you know, time went on, and like since then, I guess it's since then, I've never had this dream. It's never been around me. I've never thought of this. I've never, you know, the only time, you know, I think of it's like when I draw. Sometimes when I'm doodling, I kind of draw this thing, but this dream, it just all of a sudden went away. So I just kind of think that the ceiling is what it was. It was the ceiling in the elevator, and the ceiling in the elevator was these with these panels like this. Whoops. Well, not really like this. Kind of like this. And if you can imagine, like the ceiling, it kind of had these little things coming out like that, all the way along, just all the way along, and it clicked that this was this. So who knows?
Yeah? What did you do there?
I poured the buckets of water into the thrones.
You poured the buckets of water
Yeah,
into the thrones?
yeah, one after another. Just lugged them from one end of the room to the other end of the room and poured them all down the thrones.
You mean that you was lugging along the heavy buckets of water,
Yeah,
and you would carry them up to the throne.
exactly.
Then you pour the heavy bucket of water into the thrones,
Yeah,
and you go back across the long room, past the mirrors, and you pick up some more heavy buckets of water, bring them across the cold room, and dump them into the throne.
my God, Doctor, you're exactly right.
I
And they would
see.
just go down the thrones. They would just be sucked down in the vortex.
Oh, God. The water's in the vortex. Okay.
Yeah,
Well, what happened next?
I woke up.
Ah.
Yeah, I just woke up. I mean, it was
Yes.
over. That's the end of the dream.
Tell me something, Mr. Moore.
Yeah.
Do you by any chance remember what you was wearing in this dream?
Wearing?
Yeah. Close the eyes.
I don't remember.
Well, were you by any chance wearing the tie?
No, I wasn't wearing a tie.
Why not?
Well, why should I?
I see. So tell me, Mr. Moore, how long have you been afraid of wearing the tie?
Oh, you're right. I'm afraid of wearing a tie.
What do you think would have happened if you had been carrying the heavy buckets of water and you had been wearing the tie, which evidently you were not?
It might
What?
get wet.
Yeah, the tie would get wet, and then you know what would happen?
The colors would run.
Exactly. So, if you're in the throne room, and all of a sudden the throne room is no longer empty, and there's all the people from the court, and the beautiful princess who wants to dance with you
She wants to dance with me, but my tie
is running.
got dye.
What do you
Colors
s-
all over my fur, and it's unsightly.
What do you think she would think of you?
She would laugh at me.
Exactly. Oh, please. Calm yourself.
What can I do, Doctor? I'm
Well-
afraid.
Don't be afraid anymore, little rodent person. I have the solution for you because I just happen to have a very fine selection of the ties. Do you see anything that you like?
Yes.
What?
That bright one. I like the one with the flowers.
Oh, the one with the fruit salad?
Yeah.
You would like
Yeah,
this
fruit.
tie?
Yeah,
Yeah,
fruit or
I will.
flowers?
I think it's fruit and flowers. Fruit
Oh.
on the front side, flowers on the dress up. So
That's great.
in lieu of payment, I will give you this tie. It will make your life so much different. And that is something very necessary for you. I can tell you that right now. Here, please. This is my
Nice.
compliment.
Yeah, thanks.
It's entirely my pleasure, I can tell you that.
I'm gonna put it on right now.
Oh, that's very, very good, Mr. Moore. I'm very happy to see that.
Yeah, how's that?
It's a close fit, but it looks pretty good.
Think it'd be better if I comb my hair?
Definitely it would be.
Well, let's see. No. No. How's that? Huh?
Very attractive little rodent.
Yeah, I could really get that princess now, huh?
I think that you won't have any trouble getting her. Keeping her, who knows?
Well, I don't know, you know. I offer her all the proper incentives that a princess likes, you know.
Like money, which you won't have much of after my secretary sends you the bill for about $200 and $65 for the tie.
It's worth it. It's worth it. Thank you, Doctor.
That's-
Thank you very much.
That's very nice of you, and I'm sure I will be seeing you again.
It fell off.
Oh,
Well, I'll get it out. I'll staple it on.
you need a neck.
Mr. Sandman, bring me a dream. Make him the cutest that I've ever seen. Give him 2 lips like roses and clover, and tell him that his lonesome nights are over. Sandman, I'm so alone, don't have nobody to call my own. Please turn on your magic beam. Mr. Sandman, bring me your dream. Mr. Sandman, bring me a dream. Make him the cutest that I've ever seen. Give him the word that I'm not a rover, and tell him that his lonesome nights are over. Sandman, I'm so alone, don't have nobody to call my own. Please turn on your magic beam. Mr. Sandman, bring me a dream. Mr. Sandman, bring us a dream. Give him a pair of eyes with that come hither gleam. Give him a lonely heart like Pagliacci.